I think one of the most frustrated things that in everything that's going on right now is just trying to get some good, accurate news reporting.
Yeah, there's a lot of information out there. And even when we do our own research, I think sometimes we're like, well, is this legit? Are we sure we want to be reporting on this because we want good, accurate, real information?
And inflation. I mean, guys are saying 6% inflation. I don't know. We just did our Tuesday night podcast and, we put up some slides where we basically took the basics, life's essentials, energy, food, housing. And with the rate of price increases that we've experienced over the last 2 years, what the Fed is saying is they want to slow down inflation by raising the central bank's interest rate. I don't know how we're going to come to a soft landing and how in the next couple of weeks, we're not going to see some major economic downturns.
I know. I mean, doesn't it seem like the only option we have is to go into recession?
I don't know. Some of our comments, you wouldn't think that. They say, you're wrong. The house prices are just going to continue to go up, up, up. Guys, I promise you, look at this chart. Throughout history, yes, home prices do go up. We learned that in real estate school. It's called permanence of investment. But what we also know, and 2008 taught us that, was that what comes up goes down. And historically, through recessionary periods, we do see upswings and downswings in all prices and all gross domestic products, as well as housing.
I know we see it. In the grocery stores. I know, for example, chicken is going up. Obviously, the gas prices. I mean, that goes without saying. We don't even need to talk about it. Everything is going up. And then the shelving at the stores is not necessarily filled again. So it's not really good signs. I don't know. I don't like to be negative. I like to just kind of take the information and process it. But it's a very interesting time out there for sure.
Should we start raising our own chickens?
Sure.
I mean, you were saying chickens.
Well, it's true. I mean, maybe it's not necessarily, people live off the grid. People live completely alone of technology and they're thriving with it. So
guys, if you want to have your own chickens, if you're renting, you may want to check with your landlord or the apartment complex.
Or the county.
See if they mind whether you raise your own chickens.
Mm-hmm. Not a bad idea.
Let's talk about jobs.
Okay. So what is going on with jobs right now? I mean, we would love to hear from you too. Comment below. What is your job situation? Are you feeling that the pressure is on? How is your employer treating you? And what do you think about the job shortage?
One of the things that was the most disturbing to me when I listened to the Fed talk about the job market and how there was, I think, 11 million unfilled jobs, by slowing down the economy, that they would eliminate those jobs. I've said before, when I go out to a lot of the stores and they have help wanted signs and nobody's working, I wonder how they're going to eliminate those jobs and what that means for that company, right? Because they don't think the jobs need to be eliminated. They think the jobs need to be filled. And then we met with an economist that we had a video on, where, she had mentioned something about, well, they mean like jobs like Peloton. Now that people are going outside and they're traveling around, able to ride their bike through the neighborhood again, that they don't need Peloton jobs. Well, what about the people that are working for Peloton? And I'm not really sure that I understand that. But one thing I will say, guys, is that if you're looking to buy a house, you really need to see, how stable your job is. Because if we go through any kind of economic downturn, you need to think about your job and whether it could be eliminated.
So this may not be the best time to switch your job to go into a new position, because we have an article, we'll link it below. But what they say is that the most recent hire is going to be the first one out the door.
Yeah, historically. So first hire, first to go.
Yeah.
And, and I think that the Fed has warned that raising the rates, the interest rates, to slow the economy down, to pump the brakes or whatever, screech them to a halt. I think what the Fed made clear was that there's going to be some job casualties as a result of this. So, if you're looking to buy a house, you may want to consider if you may be one of those that could be potentially laid off.
Very true.
Guys, I also want to say, and look, this isn't very popular with other agents, okay? When we come on and we start talking about things, I hear some a little bit of pushback from the industry where they say, you know, why are you telling people not to buy a house or whatever? I'm not saying don't buy a house. What I'm saying is that you need to be cautious. I mean, if you can't listen to the news right now and you can't come to your own conclusion that we are in some uncertain times, that should maybe make you think about whether you buy a 30-year commitment, because that's what you're buying. You know, it's not like if you're renting something, you come to the end of your lease and you go, you know what, it's too expensive. I want to get a smaller place or a less expensive place. You can do so. When you're buying at what I believe is the top of the market for this particular time in history, right? Snapshot in time, highest prices that we've seen. You have to keep in mind, this is a 30-year mortgage that you're buying into. And if anything happens or changes, that downturn could mean that you could be forced to sell it. If we have a pricing downturn, you may not get what you paid, which means that you would have to sell short, which isn't good for your credit, or you have to, you know, lose some of that initial investment that you put down, that hard-earned cash that you worked and saved. You might come out, you may lose. So what I'm telling you is if you are looking to buy a house right now, make sure your job's secure. Make sure that you're planning on staying for 5, 6, 7 years at a bare minimum if you're going to buy at this price point.
Yeah. And for, you know, all the people saying that why you're a real estate agent, why wouldn't you be gung ho on someone buying? That's not what being a real estate agent is all about either. You need to care, like have the care go in. This may not be the best time for your buyer. That's not to say when in the future. Could it be a month, 6 months, a year? But you don't want to have someone strapped in not a very good situation. That would be terrible.
Yeah, it's some of the toughest things to be able to look at a buyer and say, you know, now may not be the best time for you to buy. And if you are going to move forward with buying a home, you really need to consider everything that's involved. So you do not want to deplete every penny in your bank account because, you know, when you're renting and you transition to owning a home, you may need things like a lawnmower that you never thought about before. All the costs are up across the board. That includes lawnmowers, washers and dryers, appliances. Guys, you want to know how much the utility costs are when you're moving in or considering buying a home. How many people made up that utility bill? So if you're buying a 3-bedroom home that had, you know, one person living in it, one seller, you need to add additional, you know, energy costs to the heating and cooling the home, keeping the lights on. And also you want to make sure that you're prepared for any major repairs. So, you know, when you buy a house, roofs go bad, wood rots, heating and air systems fail, and you're going to want to do some improvements too. And a lot of times, what the buyer will have a tendency to do is kind of put those on credit cards, those types of expenses on credit cards, which are very high interest rates. And, you know, with all the intentions in the world and paying them off. And sometimes, guys, you don't, and it costs you 3 times the amount.
It's very easy to just, you know, put that chip in and have it be charged, but not advisable.
Exactly. If you're looking to buy a home right now, you still want to move forward, guys, and you don't have an agent, feel free to reach out to us. If you're anywhere in the country, I have an amazing broker network all over the country. If you're here in Maryland and you're looking to buy, give us a call. We'd be happy to help you.
As always, we love your comments and questions. Keep them coming.
We always appreciate you hitting that thumbs up if you like the video. We'll let Melissa and I know that you do. And we also love it when you subscribe, you hit that alert bell, because we know then you'll get content every time we upload. See you next time.
See you next time.
Sachs Realty, Maryland broker number 607720, office number 443-318-4514, equal housing opportunity.